Hello and welcome all the lovely kids of Kalaria on the YouTube channel of Smt.R.S.Kalaria School. Today, I, Chudasama Priyanka, will be enlightening you with the science subject NCERT chapter number 9 Reproduction in Animals. Now, you would be surprising to see that these type of the systems we have already studied in the 7th standard. Yes, you are correct in guessing that. You people have already studied about the respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system and so on. So, this is also one of the system which is present in our body structure. So, we are going to study this. Now, what is this requirement for the reproductive system? This is requirement for our species to go on as it is. Now, what is the word species for us? Species means a particular characterized organism which will be carried from one generation to the other generation, that is termed as the species. Means suppose we have the Asiatic lions and that particular lion will be having the regeneration and reproduction. As a result, we will be getting so many of the cubs. Now, these cubs will be belonging to whom? Yes, of course, they will be belonging to the Asiatic lions only. So, we will be having the increase in the species of the Asiatic lions. Now, you would have understood what is the meaning of the species word. Now, let's go further. We are having some questions in our mind that why do the hens have the eggs and the human beings or the other animals are giving birth to the young one? So, what is the difference between them? So, yes, here we will be enlightening you for the same question to be answered by me. Now, before that, we have a small table given in the textbook. This textbook will be giving us some of the examples and we have to put down the answer over there. Okay. So, the first question that comes here is the human. What does the human gives? A egg or a young one? So, we will be writing in the young one also what is the name that is given to these young ones. Okay. So, here we have the answer for the human as baby. That is true. The next one is the cat. What does the cat gives? Yes, it gives the kitten. What does the dog lay? It is giving a puppy. Then the butterfly. What does the butterfly gives? It is the caterpillar. Next is the hen. What does the hen give? It will be giving an egg, laying an egg, but inside it will be a chicken. Okay. So, here we have the chick that is coming out from the egg of the hen. We have the next is the cow. What will be given by cow? It is the calf that is being given by the cow. Next we have the frog. Now, frog will be giving the tadpoles. So, these are some of the examples that we can have from the nature, that is the animals which will be producing and giving out the young ones. Now, let's have the look at the mode of the reproduction, means how many types of the reproductions are there. So, here we are having two types of the modes of the reproduction in front of you. That is the first one termed as sexual reproduction and the second one termed as asexual reproduction. Now, what is the difference between these two? Now, sexual reproduction means what? Where we need two different organs to be there, means we will be requiring male reproductive organ also and the female reproductive organ also. When the gametes will be formed, it will be turning into the zygote and slowly it will be turning to a baby. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Now, the second term is also given, that is asexual reproduction. What is this asexual reproduction? Where we do not require the male reproductive organ or the female reproductive organ, because only one parent is required or enough to give the birth to the other organism of the same species. Okay. So, that also we will be studying further. Now, here are the types. What is the asexual types? Here we have the budding system and the second one is the binary fission system. Okay. So, these are the lookout which we are going to have in this chapter. Let us see and have a look at the male reproductive system. What is this? Now, male reproductive organs will be including three things. Now, what are these things? As you can see over here on the picture in the screen, that pair of testes is there. Pair of testes means what? There will be two testes. Now, if it is a plural form, it is said to be as TES, but if it is a singular one, it is testis. Okay. So, TES, TIS. Okay, that's singular. Now, here we have the pair of the testes that is being visible in the screen, on the screen also, then 2 sperm ducts. Now, duct is the term utilized for the pipe. Now, pipe means what? It just conduct one thing, that it passes the substance from one end to the other end. That is the meaning of the duct. So, here we have the sperm duct means what? It will be just passing the sperm from the testis to the other part of the organ. Okay. Now, what is that other part? Here we have the last one as the penis. Now, penis is the last portion where the sperms will be going on for the release portion. So, these are the three things which are present in the organ of the male reproductive organ, as we can see over here on the picture also. Now, what are these sperms? First of all, we have a small question. Now, as it is visible over there on the screen also, the sperm is so small that we could not see it with the naked eyes also. But we are having a picture which is very nicely seen over here. It possesses 3 things on it. We have the labeling also being given. What are these 3 things? Yes, we can see that the head is on the top, then we have the middle portion, and then the last we have is the tail. Now, here is a question by Paheli, that what is the requirement of the tail in the sperm? So, the answer to it is that it requires the tail for the mobility purpose. What is this mobility purpose? It requires to reach the egg of the ovum. So, it will be moving from the portions of the female organs. So, it will be requiring the mobility purpose to have the movement from one part to the other part of the organ. Thus, it will be having the tail at the end. Now, we have a question in our mind that is the sperm also unicellular? So, yes, the answer is that it is a single celled organ. Okay. So, sperm is a single cell. It is very small in size and it is having 3 parts in it, that is the head, middle portion and the tail. So, this is about the male reproductive system organs and the sperm as we have seen. Let us have a look at the female reproductive organs. Likewise, the male reproductive organ, in the females also there are some pairs of the things. Now, what are these? Pair of ovaries are present, as you can see on the picture also. The pair of the ovaries means it is side by side of each other. Now, oviducts. Now, again we have the oviducts. Ducts means what? The pipeline, only the pipeline which does not do any other function. It just carries one object to the other end. Okay. That is also known as the fallopian tubes. Now, next we have is the uterus. Now, so ovaries will be producing the gamete, that is the female gamete known as the ova or the eggs. Now, these will be again single cell, as we know that the sperm was also single cell. In the same way, we have the ova or the egg also as the single cell. It will be released from the ovaries every 1 month. It will be released from either of the ovary, either from the left or from the right on each month of the system. Next, it will be conducted or carried by the oviduct up to the uterus. Now, it will be carried by the oviduct, you can say, and it will be reaching up to the uterus. Now, we have the embryo or the zygote being attached on the uterus, from where the baby will be born. Now, this is what the things are. Now, Bujo is having one more question regarding these things, that if we are having the single cell in our reproductive system, then what about the hen? They do also have the same thing, means they will be also laying the single egg only, that is the single cell. So, yes, the answer will be like this, that ostrich's eggs or hen's egg or whatever the eggs are there, they will be a single one. The yolk which is present inside the egg is representing the single cell of that particular hen or the particular bird. So, this is the surprise, that this single cell we can see without our any of the instruments, means with unaided eyes we can see this single cell. Otherwise, single cell is impossible to see by our naked eyes. So, this is what the thing is. Now, we will be looking at the next point. Now, let's have a look at the fertilization process. The first step for the fertilization is that when the sperm and the egg will be having infusion, it will be known as the fertilization. So, what this type of the fertilizations will be having? The fertilization means when the sperm and the egg will be fused together, it is said to be fertilization. As a result, we get is the zygote. Now, zygote is the thing which is going to transfer from single cell to the baby structure. Now, thus we say that we have possessed some of the qualities of our mother, some qualities of our father, means in the terms of the science we can say that we inherit the characters of our parents in us. This is because the sperm is from the father and the egg is from the mother's womb. So, we can have both the characters. In fact, that we can have the generations characters also, maybe grandfather's characters will be coming to our body structure also. So, this is what the result is, that inherit the characters of the parents of all the mother and the father. Okay. Now, here we can say that the sperms which are released, as you can see over here in the picture, that there are so many sperms, means millions of the sperms are released at one single time, but only one single egg is present, that is ova. Single ova is present over there in the ovaries or the oviduct. Now, what will happen? Will there be the fusion of all the sperms with the egg? No. Only one sperm will be attached with the egg and it will be only allowed to enter the egg, and thus there will be the fusion. Now, this as it is being conducted inside the body of the female, so it is known as the internal fertilization. So, this is what we can have, that it is the internal fertilization which is going on in the female structure, that is in the all the animals. Okay. Now, the second one where we can have that some females have some problems, that from the oviduct, if it is blocked, then the egg would not be released from there to the uterus, or even the sperms could not reach to the egg portion. So, what will be the result? The eggs are formed or produced, even the sperms are also produced, but the reason is that there is a blockage in the oviduct and thus the sperms will not reach the egg at all. So, what we can do? The doctors have found out the way throughout that if we will be taking out the freshly released egg from the female body and the freshly released sperms from the male organ, and thus if we will fuse that outside the body structure of the female organ, then for 1 week it is kept as it is for the fusion, that is the fertilization, and after that it will be introduced into the uterus of the female reproductive organ, and thus the baby will be formed. Now, this process is known as IVF, that is in vitro fertilization. This is carried out in the outside portion of the female reproductive organ, and thus it is named as baby test tube babies, but it is just misunderstood that the babies are born from the test tube. It is not correctly mentioned. It is said that the test tube babies are just fertilized outside the body organs of the female, but later after 1 or 2 weeks they will be introduced into the uterus of the female, and thus the zygote will be developing inside the female only. The baby will be formed as the normal one which borns over there in the other situations also. So, this is what the IVF is. Now, next we have is the external fertilization. We know that there are so many other animals which will not be producing the young ones, they will be releasing the eggs. Now, for that what will be the systems or what will be the priorities that will be happening with them? So, here we have the best example, that is the frog. If you will go to the water streams or nearby the water moving, there you will find that there are some black colored dots present over there. Now, these are the eggs which are released by the female frog, and the sperms will be released on it by the male frog. Now, because of there are so many of the eggs, means hundreds of the eggs are being released at the same time, only some of the sperms will be attached to these eggs, means yes, it is the watery area, there will be so many of the restrictions over there, and thus few of the sperms will be matching with the or added to the eggs of the frog female, and thus some of these eggs will be reproducing and have the zygote, embryo and the egg, and thus they will be produced to the tadpole and then resulting into the frog. Now, for that here we have that we can say the reproduction of the egg will be not inside the female body organ. So it is termed as the external fertilization, as it is the development of the child or the baby is outside the body structure of the female organ. So it is termed as the external fertilization. You can see here the picture of the eggs. So many eggs are all together. Now here is a query by Bujo that why there is a requirement of so many eggs to be released at the same time, because in the human beings or in other animals we have only one egg at a time. So the answer to it that the frogs are releasing the eggs on the water bodies, means it is either a lake or a river or it is a flowing water. So what will happen to it? There will be so many of the problems existing there. The first thing, that is the moving water. Maybe the moving water will carry some of the eggs with it, or the sperms which are released afterwards will not be attached to the eggs if it is a moving water. The second condition, that it would be due to the moving of the wind over there, that it can float with the wind also. The third condition is that because of the rainfall they would be diverted and they will be scattered outside. So other thing is that there are so many aquatic animals present in the water too. So what will happen? These aquatic animals will be feeding on the frog's eggs because they are so minute and so small that they would not feel that it is a living organism. They will just feed on them. Now, what are the structure? As you can see here, there are black colored spots, but they are attached together. What is the reason that they are attached together? These eggs will be having a jelly-like structure surrounding them that will be binding all of them together and making a bulge over there. This is the reason why they are all together present over here. Now, here we have the another thing, that is the development of the embryo. Now, what is this embryo? First of all, let us have a small look at the embryo. Now, as we know that the fusion of the embryo, the fusion of the sperm and the egg cell, that is the ova, will be together and will be fusing and forming the zygote. So, zygote is the first stage of the development of any of the human being or any of the animal, we can say. Now, after the zygote, what will happen? There will be some development and there will be the division of the cells in the zygote. See, zygote is a single cell. We know that sperm is a single cell and the ova or the egg is also a single cell. But when they fuse, we have seen the picture also, when they are fusing together, what will happen? The nucleus of the sperm and the nucleus of the egg will be fused together and they will be converting into a single nuclei, that is forming the zygote. Now, this zygote possesses the single nucleus and the single cell structure. Thus, it is a zygote and single celled. Now, the second stage where it will be developing means when it is coming out from the ovaries and by the oviduct, when it is released from there and will be reaching to the uterus. After reaching to the uterus, it has already converted into the embryo. Now, what is this embryo? There will be some development in the cell. It is now not a single cell. It will be divided, or you can say multiplied into so many cells. That could be the 2 or 4 or 8. So, this is the embryo stage where it is developed. Now, after this, we can say that there will be the 3 changes over there. First one is, this is the multiplication of the cells that is going on. The next one will be the ball of these cells. We now recognize that the cell which is released from the oviduct has converted from a single cell to the ball of these cells. It is not a single now, it is carrying so many of the cells in it. Then we can have, there are some changes again. That means that it will be showing the different aspects, means the size will be also different from this. And then we will be having the tissues being formed after that. Now, what will be the reason that we know that the organs are formed after the tissues are being formed? Okay, so tissues are not another thing than the collection of the cells. If the cells of the same type are together, they will be known as the tissues. Now, these tissues will be formed over there after the embryo stage, and thus these tissues will be combining together to form the different organs. Now, this will be resulting the stage where these things are visible. This stage will be known as the the fetus. Now, in this fetus, you can see all these types of the things are present. Means what will happen to it? There will be some change over here. It will be carrying out the limbs, the head, the eye, ear. These are the portions which are visible now. Now, in the embryo we have seen that it is a ball of the cells and some tissues are formed, some organs are also formed. But now after this embryo, what will happen? Up to the fetus stage, we can even find out that there are the limbs, that is the hind limbs and the forelimbs also being visible there. The face structure will be visible, not completely but little bit. You can recognize the ear which is coming out from the face. Even you can recognize the eyeball that is organized over there. Okay, so these are the few of the symptoms which will be telling that now it is no more embryo, it is now turned to the fetus, and now this fetus will be converted slowly to the baby. Now what is this baby structure? Baby structure means there will be the fingers also coming out, the nose also being visible, the face will be having the lips also over there, eyebrows, hair portion. So all these things will be visible later. So this is what the baby will be looking like. So the stages by which we go through is the, first of all is the egg and the sperms will be fused, that is the fertilization. Later it will be converted to the zygote, that is again single cell. After that it will be forming the embryo where it is the no more a single cell, it is having the ball of the cells, and then it will be converted to the fetus that will be showing the limbs and the face and some of the creatures also, and some of the characters over there, and the last stage, that is the baby, which is now ready to come out to the world.